Good evening, you're now with me, Handy Gui for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Sarawak holds immense potential to establish itself as a world-class medical tourism hub. The state has been named as one of the potential hosts of an upcoming ASEAN meeting next year. And in world affairs, at least 26 killed after twin bomb blasts hit Pakistan on election eve. At least 26 people have been killed in two separate bomb blasts outside poll candidate offices in southwestern Pakistan on the eve of an election marked by violence and controversy. Officials and local media said the first attack occurred near the office of an independent candidate in Pishin district, around 50 kilometers from the city of Quetta and around 100 kilometers from the border with Afghanistan. Authorities put the death toll from the blast at 14, with 30 more wounded. Meanwhile, a second blast hit near the election office of a candidate from the Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam F party in the city of Kila Saifullah, about 120 kilometers east. The city's Deputy Commissioner Yasir Bazai said 12 people were killed in the blast, which took place outside the election office. Sarawak has been named as one of the potential hosts of an upcoming ASEAN meeting next year. Director of Sarawak's regional office at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Fanny Nali, said the matter was disclosed to the Premier, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng, during a courtesy call held earlier today. As such, she revealed that various plans have been discussed and refined with the relevant officials in the state government.
Antaranya perancangan untuk Sarawak menjadi tuan rumah pada salah satu mesyuarat penting ASEAN pada tahun hadapan, dan juga kunjungan-kunjungan hormat duta-duta besar asing ke Sarawak, dan pelbagai rancangan yang telah dibincangkan, telah diperhalusi, dan kali ini akan diperhalusi dengan pegawai yang berkenaan di Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak.
Additionally, Fanny noted that the purpose of her first courtesy call to the Premier following her appointment as Director was to obtain approval for the plans that were being implemented. She proposed that the Foreign Ministry Sarawak Regional Office assumes a more active role during her tenure as Director, in line with the state government's development and achievements.
Sarawak holds immense potential to establish itself as a world-class medical tourism hub. Chairman of the European Wellness Biomedical Group, Professor Dato Sri Dr. Mike Chan, said realizing this vision would require substantial support from the Sarawak government.
Actually, we need the support from the Premier government. So I want a world medical wellness hub here. So we are going to bring the rich down here, and they will have therapy and treatment here, instead of going out of the country for the locals too, okay?
He said this to the reporters after paying a courtesy call to Sarawak's Premier, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng at Wisma Bapa Malaysia on Wednesday. Apart from establishing a world-class medical tourism destination, Dr. Chan also expressed his intention to set up a research science centre in Sarawak, which he believes would create employment opportunities and foster technological advancement in the region. While the target audience primarily consists of affluent individuals seeking medical treatment in Sarawak, he pointed out that the needs of economically disadvantaged groups would not be overlooked. Moreover, he indicated his interest in providing attention to individuals with special needs such as autism and Down syndrome, given his expertise in this field.
So I've treated thousands and thousands of autistic and Down syndrome children in the Middle East. So it's high time we also have to treat. In Malaysia, we have done more than 1,000 times treating all these children in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur in the past, for the past 20 years. So it's high time Sarawak should be a world hub in this too, because this is more affordable. Okay, so imagine the Singaporeans, the Bruneians, and the people from Jakarta or Kalimantan, they are looking for healthcare too.
The University Malaysia Sarawak Unimas's Prima Health Centre is nearing completion at almost 99% and is expected to be open to the public by May of this year. According to Unimas Vice-Chancellor Professor Dr. Ahmad Hatta Rasid, the remaining 1% only involves minor works to fine-tune the facility.
InsyaAllah tahun ni kita akan buka dalam, I think ada sikit fine tune, mungkin dalam bulan April, I think ada bulan Mei kita akan membuka pusat primer kita. Ya. Tertakluk kepada JKR, I think apabila dah siap dan juga developer, insyaAllah I think dalam tahun ni kita akan buka untuk kegunaan staf dan juga penduduk di sekitar Semarahan. So almost 99%. Ya, tunggu 1% saja lagi.
He told this to reporters after paying a courtesy call to the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng at Wisma Bapa Malaysia on Wednesday. Meanwhile, he revealed that the Sarawak government has agreed to allocate a funding of 5 million ringgit for health endowment purposes. He disclosed that the funding would benefit chronic patients in need of healthcare assistance around Unimas Kuching and Semarahan who are treated at Sarawak General Hospital and Unimas Hospital in the future.
Dan beberapa perkara berkaitan dengan pembukaan tersebut dengan endowment wakaf kesihatan yang amat Premier telah bersetuju untuk memberi dalam 5 juta untuk inisiatif wakaf kesihatan bagi pesakit-pesakit yang memerlukan bantuan kesihatan di pusat primer kita yang berasal di sekitar Unimas dan juga di sekitar Kuching, Semarahan dan juga. So kebanyakan nanti yang kita beri pengetahuan kepada YAB Premier adalah untuk pelaksanaan.
For the record, the courtesy call conducted earlier today was the first for Dr. Ahmad after he was appointed as the 7th Vice-Chancellor of Unimas on January 8 this year. Sarawak's Mufti Department will continue to play its role in disseminating knowledge and information in the field of astronomy. State's Mufti Datuk Kipli Yassin said among the main functions of the Mufti Department is to observe the moon based on astronomical calculations to determine the dates for Ramadan, Shawwal and Zulhijjah.
Jadi semua proses ini kita jelaskan dan juga apakah kriteria imkan ru'yah yang diguna pakai di Malaysia dan termasuk di Sarawak itu sendiri. Jadi taklimat ini adalah merupakan suatu proses untuk berkongsi maklumat ini agar segala perjalanan perkara berkaitan ini dapat dimaklumi dengan cara yang lebih tepat dan sempurna. Dan juga kita dalam taklimat ini telah pun juga menjelaskan tentang projek-projek iaitu misalnya dalam tentang pusat falak miri dan pusat falak bintulu dan insyaAllah masih dalam proses iaitu pusat astronomi Borneo yang akan dijadikan sebagai satu pusat tentang penyelidikan dan juga pendidikan serta maknanya astropelancongan dari sudut astronomi itu sendiri di negeri Sarawak.
He said this to the reporters after paying a courtesy call to the Governor of Sarawak, His Excellency Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar at Astana on Wednesday. The courtesy call was also aimed to brief the TYT on matters regarding fatwas. Previously, moon observation in Sarawak was conducted through observation methods at the Santubong Astronomy Centre and the Lua Esplanade Miri.
Petroleum Sarawak Berhad Petros has officially assumed its role as the sole gas aggregator in the state effective 1st February 2024, signifying a pivotal role the company plays in the state's gas distribution network. The appointment came under the Distribution of Gas Amendment Ordinance 2023. According to a statement by the Ministry of Utility and Telecommunications Sarawak, Petros's role as the sole gas aggregator includes the procurement of natural gas and the development, operation, as well as to supply to industries and other consumers in Sarawak. It also added that the initiative aligns with the goals of the Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy PCDS 2030, aimed at achieving sustainable socio-economic growth and positioning Sarawak as a developed region with a high-income economy by 2030. On November 21st, Sarawak Utility and Telecommunication Minister Datuk Sri Julaihi Nurawi revealed that Sarawak will appoint its own gas aggregator to ensure gas availability for industries and consumers in the state, following amendments to the Gas Distribution Ordinance. He also added there was currently an insufficient volume of gas for industrial use in the state, as nearly all the gas produced offshore Sarawak was converted into liquefied natural gas for export by Petronas. The post-pandemic realm spurs changes on a global scale, with efforts for globalization disruptions such as artificial intelligence, technology adoption and automation continue to grow. However, as the matter poses a change, sustainability is a vital concept for industries, as balancing the needs of both the people and planet is an important factor for the evolution of environmental, social and governance (ESG). Echoing this, Future of Work Director Michelle Sagan pointed out that to drive these policies, a purpose to foster transformation among the workforce is crucial.
Stakeholder value says, how do I also look after my people? How do I look after my planet? And in order to be able to drive sustainable goals, whether it's in terms of your workforce or whether it's in terms of your environment, your ESG, right, policies, you really need to have leadership with very clear purpose, right? So that's why the 4 Ps are so key, right? So purpose to drive that long-term sustainability, workforce transformation, people transformation policies, that even when you have disruption, digital disruption or technological disruption, you have the people and workforce policies in place that will not cause job losses or mass firings in that sense. You're also looking at the need for, of course, ESG, planet-based policies. How do we ensure that we're also very sustainable in regards to, the planet that we live on, we live in, etc. And of course, the last one is profit, right? So as much as we do want to look after the people and the planet, we still have to make sure that we are profit-making.
Sagan also emphasized reskilling and upskilling manpower as vital towards social sustainability to ensure disruption will not hamper job losses, adding that a proper framework should be included in the state's sustainability goals.
At possibly 3.3 million jobs lost in Malaysia, but we're also looking at a potential 6 million jobs gain, right? Due to all these various fourth industrial disruption and technology adoption. The big question is, where are the jobs going to be gained in, right? What is the future of jobs? So what are these 3 million jobs that are the net gain that's going to happen? And where are we going to focus our energy and effort in regards to upskilling and reskilling our people? Right? So if we're looking at the S in ESG, as I mentioned, social sustainability is very key. So if we want to ensure that automation and digitalization and AI does not create too much disruption, does not create too much human impact and job loss, then how do we create social sustainability? By ensuring that workforce transformation happens.
Under the 12 Malaysia Plan 12MP, Sarawak will do a study on the state's own climate change policy and a low-carbon society blueprint, especially in the 4 major cities, namely Kuching, Miri, Bintulu and Cebu. Thank you for staying with us. The Cabinet had been informed of the vacancy for the Dewan Negara President following the appointment of Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar as Sarawak Yang di-Pertua Negeri. Minister of Communications and Digital Fahmi Fadzil said names have been received for the position and the announcement will be made by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim once the appointment process is completed.
Untuk pelantikan, kita dah ada nama dan saya percaya akan diumumkan dalam masa terdekat. Kita jangka sebelum mula sidang Dewan Negara.
Fahmi said the announcement will take place sometime in March. However, Fahmi was tight-lipped when asked if only one or several names had been proposed. He also declined to confirm if the likely candidate was a man. The position of the Dewan Negara President was vacant when Wan Junaidi took oath as the 8th Sarawak Governor on January 29th. He took the oath of office at the Sarawak Legislative Assembly in front of Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng and Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak Tan Sri Abdul Rahman Sabli.
The Ministry of Plantation and Commodities intends to make Egypt an essential part of its plan to expand Malaysia's palm oil exports to the African continent through the Suez Canal Economic Zone. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani, said economic cooperation in the palm oil sector between Malaysia and Egypt has been discussed in his meeting with the Egyptian ambassador to Malaysia, Ragai Taufik Nasir.
Through a post on X, Johari said Egypt is a strategic country for palm oil industry as palm oil makes up almost 90% of Malaysia's exports to Egypt in addition to its population of 110 million people. He added that both countries are exploring a partnership in palm product marketing strategies involving government-linked companies along with the cooperation of private players in both countries. He said, in addition to Malaysia's strong position as palm oil exporter to the country, Egypt is strategically located to be a potential gateway to other North African countries.
The International Telecommunication Union (ITU) has released its latest report on the Information and Communication Technology Development Index IDI 2023, placing Malaysia among the front runners for telecommunication development on the international stage. According to a statement issued by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), Malaysia is ranked 15th in the world and 3rd in ASEAN in the IDI 2023.
The organization also mentioned that in the IDI 2023, which assessed 10 indicators, Malaysia has attained, among other achievements, near universal coverage of 4G or LTE mobile networks, high subscriptions to mobile broadband, and affordable rates for both mobile and fixed broadband services. Malaysia also registered high rates of internet usage, mobile phone ownership, and internet traffic. MCMC further emphasized that these achievements demonstrate sustainable access to digital services and widespread digital engagement in Malaysia. In the same statement, Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil reiterated that these accomplishments underscore the government's unwavering commitment to achieve universal and meaningful connectivity for all Malaysians, with inclusivity as a fundamental principle to ensure ubiquitous access to communication services.
Saudi Arabia has informed the United States that it will not normalize relations with Israel until an independent Palestinian state is recognized. At the same time, Saudi Arabia has urged for all ongoing Israeli military operation in Gaza to be stopped and all Israeli forces to withdraw from the besieged region. The Gulf Kingdom's foreign ministry statement came in response to comments made by White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, who stated that discussions regarding Saudi-Israeli normalization were ongoing and that Washington had received positive feedback from both sides, indicating their willingness to continue these discussions. For a while now, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken embarked on a visit to Saudi Arabia this week, followed by stops in Egypt, Qatar, and ultimately Israel, where he is actively advocating for a truce deal to be negotiated in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. These also include U.S. President Joe Biden's administration, which has pushed hard for Saudi Arabia to recognize Israel. However, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has made it clear that to do that, two things will be required: an end to the conflict in Gaza and a clear, credible, time-bound path to the establishment of a Palestinian state. Saudi Arabia, host to Islam's most sacred sites, has historically refrained from recognizing Israel and opted not to participate in the 2020 U.S.-brokered Abraham Accords, unlike its Gulf neighbors Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates, along with Morocco. At least 5 people were killed and 31 injured when a rain-induced landslide engulfed 2 buses and houses in a mountainous region of the southern Philippines. Local authorities reported that the landslide struck on Tuesday night in a mining village on Mindanao Island, trapping at least 20 people inside 2 buses used to transport mine workers. Meanwhile, at least 28 people were on board the buses when the landslide hit. However, 8 people managed to escape unhurt through the windows before the mud engulfed them. The buses had been outside a gold mine operated by the Philippine company Apex Mining in Masara village, where buses drop off and pick up workers. 5 bodies were pulled from the mud, but it was not clear if they were on the bus. Meanwhile, another 31 villagers were also injured, with 2 of them seriously hurt and were airlifted to a hospital in Davao City for treatment. Shortly after the landslide, it was reported that an earthquake shook the village and the search effort was halted at midnight as it was too hazardous to continue. It is not clear if other mine workers were also affected by the landslide or if other villages are missing. Meanwhile, 285 families from Masara and 4 nearby villages were forced to evacuate from their homes. Military personnel have been deployed to help in the rescue efforts. Rain have pounded parts of Mindanao off and on for weeks, forcing tens of thousands into emergency shelters. Landslides are frequent hazards across much of the archipelago nation owing to the mountainous terrain, heavy rainfall, and widespread deforestation. The Philippines is regularly ravaged by storms, with scientists warning they are becoming more powerful as the world gets warmer because of climate change. A Kenyan court on Tuesday charged the leader of a starvation cult and dozens of suspected accomplices with murdering nearly 200 children in a forest near the Indian Ocean. Self-proclaimed pastor Paul Mackenzie, who has already been charged with terrorism, manslaughter, as well as child torture and cruelty, is alleged to have incited hundreds of his acolytes to starve to death in order to meet Jesus. On Tuesday, Mackenzie said 29 other suspects pleaded not guilty to 191 counts of murder, including of 3 infants, according to court documents seen by AFP. A 31st suspect was deemed to lack the mental fitness to stand trial and ordered to return to the Malindi High Court in a month's time. The cult leader has pleaded not guilty to all the charges against him. He was arrested in April last year after bodies were found in the Shakahola forest, with the grisly discoveries provoking horror across the world. Autopsies revealed that the majority of the 429 victims had died of hunger, but others, including children, appear to have been strangled, beaten, or suffocated. The case, dubbed the Shakahola Forest Massacre, led the government to flag the need for tighter control of fringe denominations. A largely Christian nation, Kenya has struggled to regulate unscrupulous churches and cults that dabble in criminality. The Thai government will urgently move a bill to ban the recreational use of cannabis after the kingdom decriminalized the drug in 2022. The kingdom's health minister said on Tuesday the new bill will be proposed to the cabinet meeting next week. Cannabis was taken off the list of banned narcotics in June 2022 under the previous government, which included the pro-legislation Boom Jatai Party, becoming the first country in Southeast Asia to legalize the drug. The move prompted hundreds of cannabis dispensaries to sprout around the country, particularly in Bangkok, provoking concern from critics who urged the need for tighter legislation. Thailand's health minister told reporters that a new bill will be amended to only allow the use of cannabis for health and medicinal purposes. Its prime minister, who took office last August, has frequently voiced his opposition to the recreational use of the drug and said it should only be allowed for medicinal use. There was fresh pressure from the public last weekend after attendees of British rock band Coldplay's concert in Bangkok complained on social media that the entire concert smelled like marijuana. Dive into the love story of Dawn and Rachel in the heartwarming drama series specially crafted for this upcoming Chinese New Year, Wedding Stone. Dawn and Rachel, a couple with opposing perspectives on their impending union, find themselves entangled in a web of emotions as they approach their wedding day. Their destinies take an unforeseen turn when a mysterious stone intervenes, casting a spell that transcends time and space. The mysterious rock becomes a poignant symbol, forcing the couple to confront their fears, desires, and doubts surrounding their union. Amidst the temporal twists and turns, Wedding Stone raises thought-provoking questions about the nature of love, commitment, and the importance of self-reflection. Will the couple emerge from this metaphysical journey with a newfound understanding of themselves and each other? Watch Wedding Stone beginning February 14 at 9:30 p.m. exclusive on TVS Channel 122, MyTV, Unified TV, and Astro. See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.